Welcome back. You're still watching Smart Money on CNBC TV 18. It is a step-by-step guide this week on the IPO frenzy, what you should be doing, which ones you should subscribe to and which ones you should avoid. We have two gentlemen sitting by with us, Deepak Shenoy, the CEO of Capital Mind, and Mr. R.K. Gupta, the advisor at IPO Mantra. Let's move on now. We talked about 3 IPOs. There are many more that have opened up this week. And one of them I want to talk about is Laxmi Organics. Now, it is in this space of specialty intermediates. And, you know, if you look at the track record, Deepak, it's been pretty strong, right? So what would your advice be to investors? I think it opened on 15th. It closes today. What's the view? And even post-listing?
Yeah, so I think the specialty chemical space has been on fire in the market. So I think a large amount of interest is coming in there. Laxmi Organics makes ethyl acetates and acetyl intermediaries really. They're about 60% of their revenues. They are largely pharma, so 36%. Rest of it comes from agrochem and pigments and a couple of other areas. There is also 75% of it is India, 25% exports. They are getting into the organic fluoro specialties as well. So fluorochem is another part they're starting with. That sounds exciting, but to be fair, the revenues had a muted growth. PAT has been negative CAGR for 3 years. We also feel that this for this kind of a growth, paying something like, I think we're paying out 45 times FY20 in this space. I would say there may be listed peers, especially if you're looking for a listing pop, you're going to be ending up paying 60 to 70 times past. I don't think that is attractive for me at this point. I'd wait for listing, wait for a quarter or so of results to see if something fundamental has changed, especially in the fluoro area, and then pick it up. So in this IPO, I would just say avoid for now.
Okay, so avoid subscribing to the IPO purely because of the valuations and how they're quite steep. But RK, what about you? Laxmi Organics, how does it look? I mean, the growth has been good, but would you also be concerned about valuations?
Laxmi Organics is another name which is doing good, not on the valuation parts, but as a whole I am looking this particular company, the sector is doing good. The valuations are a little bit overstretched if you talk about the pricing, but otherwise I like this IPO and I believe that listing gains and it's good long term bet as per me. So I will put my money in Laxmi Organics.
Okay, so once again, contradictory views coming in there. Deepak going in for an avoid for Laxmi Organics, and Mr. Gupta saying that you must subscribe. But that is what makes the market, right? All right, so you want to hold up your placard as well, Mr. Gupta. There's an avoid for Deepak, and there's a subscribe that Mr. R.K. Gupta has for Laxmi Organics. Okay, so that's two different views that make up the market, right? But there's another company in the specialty chemicals business, Anupam Rasayan, that opens up, and this one is, it is one of the leading companies in that space, and this whole sector has been doing very well. Deepak, your view there, would that also be sort of a good growth story, but expensive valuations, or do you like that one?
Yeah, I think the problem right now is everything in the market is expensive, so it's difficult to say don't buy anything because it's expensive. But this one it's a very interesting company. They're talking of about 79x past earnings, but there are some interesting things over there. They are more agrochem than pharma, so they have a life sciences part, but there's it's much more focused on agrochem. So I think they sell to UPL and Syngenta and Sumitomo Chemicals, and the relatively higher margin play of some of these sectors is attractive because that gives them room. Also the China plus one, so you get a little bit more from whatever's coming out of de-risking from China. Even a small amount is good enough. However, their margin volatility is quite high because they price at the beginning of the year. They have raw material margins through the year, the raw material volatility through the year. So they have that volatility in margin. So they keep a lot of inventory as well to try and offset that. So inventory costs become higher. Their ROE and ROCs are lower than, say, a listed PI industries. Even PI is expensive, but again, PI is less expensive than this company. So I'd say we'll again wait for results to show up and perhaps reduce that gap between earnings and price, and therefore pick it up after. So at the IPO, I would not subscribe to this.
Okay, avoid. And what about you, RK? What's your view on Anupam?
Anupam has already closed yesterday, and we have seen some amazing demand. In QIB category, it got subscribed by 66 times. 66 is actually a very good figure. It was much, I was anticipated a bit less in this category, but responses was overwhelming. Overall, it got 44 times subscription, and we should not forget this is a leading company in custom synthesis and manufacturing specialty chemicals in India, and the image of promoter is very clean, and lot of investors, a lot of PMS put money on the bet of promoter only. So I think Anupam should do well on the listing, as well as it is good for long term.
Okay, so good for long-term gains, Anupam Rasayan. Of course, that IPO is closed. So now post-listing, perhaps you can buy it. There we have the placards up once again. It's an avoid for Deepak. And Mr. Gupta, what about you? Can you just pull up your placard as well for Anupam Rasayan? What is your view? Apply. All right, once again, contradictory views coming in there. But we've put both the pros and cons for you on your screen, right? Now I want to talk about the IPO pipeline for the rest of FY22. It looks pretty attractive. From the ones that we already spoke about, there are so many good companies coming through. There's LIC, there's Policy Bazaar, there's Zomato, there's SBI Mutual Fund, Flipkart, Paytm, Grofers. We don't, of course, have the exact dates, but I just wanted to toss this question to Deepak. Deepak, so many of these, especially in the digital space coming through this year, right? Anything that looks attractive to you?
Everything does, Sonia. In fact, digital is like it's a new area. I don't think a lot of companies are valued, are able to be valued in meaningful ways. Zomato, for instance, is a platform, and we're indirectly invested in it through Naukri as a disclosure. But there is actually a large space over here. Zomato can now reach, I think, households in I don't know how many cities now. And just the ability to get to those households today delivers food. Tomorrow it can be a platform for delivery of anything. And those scale coming in through the platforms they've built. Look at Paytm, look at Zomato. Policy Bazaar itself has a platform that attracts a lot of people looking for policies and conversions. They're one of the best in that field. Again, we've indirectly invested through Naukri. So I'm really looking forward to all of these. I think they're disruptive players. They will change the game. They will not play the same game. They'll play the game differently. And I think they will open up a lot more avenues. So tomorrow, we wouldn't be surprised to see Zomato delivering everything and anything under the sun. And even being an e-commerce play, you don't know how that will evolve simply because they've spent all this time and money building this out. So I'm very excited to look forward to these IPOs. And of course, the LIC IPO, because largest in the insurance space.
Okay, so that's the IPO pipeline. But since we're talking about digital and this whole, e-commerce digital space, there's Easy Trip that gets listed on Friday. So that one's going to be a good listing to watch. Let me go to both of you one by one on whether you would buy post-listing or not. Mr. Gupta, first to you, Easy Trip, what is your view?
Before answering that query, I will take just 2 minutes. Let me tell you that I am not a fundamental analyst. I am weak in, maybe I am weak in technicals also. But what I know, what is my main forte is how to make money in IPOs. I am good in that. So my approach towards IPO is not very conventional. My wavelength, that is why it does not match with many times with many fundamentalists. So I think differently. You can, there's a T20 season is on, India, England is on. So you can say I'm a player who is ready to play reverse sweep on the very first ball of the match. So I think out of the box. So in this particular IPO regarding your, now I'm coming to answer your query regarding Easy Trip, we should not look only towards the red flags. There are some opportunities as well. In this particular IPO Easy Trip, when it came, there was so much negativity. I read many articles, just quoting the red flags in this particular IPO. But we should also look towards some good points about the company. I agree that last year was bad, but that is bad for each and every company in this sector. Huge opportunities there in hotels, corporates, online ticket booking space. For me, it's an excellent bet, and I have got the allotment. I have applied in this IPO first of all, and I got the allotment as well, and I will hold that for the long term, and I will not going to book it on the listing. For me, it's a good long-term bet.
Okay, so let's talk about Easy Trip that listed as well. This of course is in the digital e-commerce space as we just spoke about. So what is the recommendation here post-listing? For long-term investors, is it still a potential?
I think it should demonstrate its potential through the financials. At this point, of course, well, let's wait for it to list. Let's see what it lists at. I'm a sucker for anything in the digital space, so I will buy a small quantity of it as soon as it lists and wait. Right now, I may not be excited about the financials, but again, this is a platform space. You can do so many things. IRCTC is also getting into their business. They might get into using IRCTC as part of their business as well. They will. There's competition from Make My Trip to Yatra to ClearTrip, TripAdvisor. Everybody is in this space. It's hyper competitive. The differentiator here is they don't charge a service fee or convenience fee. It's only when you cancel it, which is quite attractive for a lot of players because nobody else does that. So I think I'll wait for financials to pan out. And like I said, I will always buy something digital, always in small quantity, and then wait for results to show up.
Okay, gentlemen, it was a pleasure speaking to both of you. And what's interesting is both of you have two very different approaches towards buying and investing in IPOs. And I guess it gives our viewers as well a different perspective, right? Thanks so much for joining us. Hope you guys enjoyed this CNBC TV 18 special edition. Thanks so much for watching.